The message from beyond. The radio telescope array in New Mexico had been scanning the stars for 30 years. For 30 years, it had found nothing but cosmic background noise and the occasional pulsar. Dr. Maya Chen had spent the last decade of her life listening to that silence, believing, despite mounting budget cuts and public skepticism, that we weren't alone. On a cold Tuesday morning in November, the silence broke. Maya was alone in the monitoring station when the first patterns emerged. Not random noise, but structured data, deliberate, mathematical, and unmistakably artificial. Her hands trembled as she initiated the verification protocols. By sunset, she had confirmation. Humanity had received its first message from the stars. "Get me the president," she told her assistant, her voice surprisingly steady. "Tell him it's about first contact." Within 48 hours, the Lowell Observatory in Arizona was surrounded by military vehicles. Inside, representatives from 12 nations gathered in shocked silence as Maya played the message again. The mathematical sequences that had served as a universal greeting gave way to more complex patterns. "It took us 3 days to crack the basic encoding," Maya explained, addressing the room full of world leaders and scientists. "The message contains instructions for building a more advanced communication device. And," she hesitated, "a request for help." General Richard Martinez of the United States Space Force leaned forward. "Help? They're asking for our help. What technological level are we dealing with here?" "Based on the sophistication of the transmission and the technology they're asking us to build, they're centuries ahead of us," Maya replied, which makes their request all the more puzzling. The message, once fully decoded, was troubling. It claimed to come from an alliance called the Galactic Union, a coalition of 7 spacefaring species. They had been monitoring Earth for decades, watching our development. Now they needed our assistance with what they called the impending dark, a threat they claimed could wipe out all intelligent life in the galaxy. More concerning were the message's final words. "Your species possesses unique abilities essential to our survival. Please respond. Time is critical." The United Nations Security Council debated for weeks. Half wanted to respond immediately. The other half urged caution or silence. Dr. Maya Chen found herself thrust into international politics, testifying before governments and intelligence agencies. "Why would advanced aliens need our help?" asked Chinese Premier Wu during a closed-door session. This could be a trap. Maya had no answers, only the data. The signal originated from the HD 40,307 star system, approximately 42 light-years away. The transmission method suggests they have faster-than-light communication. The message was specifically directed at Earth. In the end, curiosity and hope outweighed fear. 6 months after receiving the message, a unified Earth initiative began constructing the communication device according to the alien specifications. The International Space Agency converted an old lunar base into humanity's first interstellar communication center. The device, a quantum entanglement array unlike anything human science had conceived, took another year to complete. Commander Jackson Torres, former Navy SEAL and head of the Lunar Security Detail, watched the final calibrations with unease. Unlike the excited scientists, his training had taught him to look for threats, and something about this situation raised every alarm in his body. "You don't trust our new pen pals?" Maya asked him, noticing his expression as they prepared for the first transmission. "I don't trust what I don't understand," he replied. "And I don't understand why beings advanced enough to contact us across 42 light-years would need our help." Maya had wondered the same thing but kept returning to the data. The message was genuine. Whatever they need, it must be something unique to humans. "That's what worries me," Jackson muttered. When the quantum array activated, the results exceeded all expectations. Instead of the delayed response they had anticipated, the connection was instantaneous. The holographic projector they had built according to alien specifications flared to life, filling the Lunar Command Center with light. A figure appeared, tall, slender, with 4 arms and iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Its large, compound eyes surveyed the room as scientists and military personnel stared in stunned silence. "I am Ambassador Thalrax of the Galactic Union," it said in perfect English, its voice melodious and calming. "Thank you for answering our call." Maya stepped forward as Earth's designated representative. "I am Dr. Maya Chen of Earth. We received your message requesting help." The alien skin rippled with blue patterns, an emotional response they would later learn indicated relief. "The situation is dire, Dr. Chen. Our surveillance indicates your species has qualities that might save countless civilizations." "What qualities?" General Martinez demanded from behind Maya. "And what are we saving them from?" Ambassador Thalrax's colors darkened. "We face an enemy that exists outside normal spacetime. They consume worlds, minds, entire species. We call them the Void Walkers. They cannot be reasoned with or understood by conventional means." The hologram shifted, showing images that made several humans look away. Planets being enveloped in darkness, strange geometries that hurt to look at, beams twisted into impossible shapes. For 10,000 cycles, the Union has fought them to a stalemate, but we are losing ground. Our scientists believe humans possess a unique cognitive architecture, a way of thinking and problem-solving that differs from all known species. Maya frowned. "You mean our creativity, our imagination?" "More fundamental than that," Thalrax replied. "Your minds exist partly in quantum indeterminacy. You can conceive of paradoxes and hold contradictory ideas simultaneously without neural collapse. This is extremely rare." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "So what exactly do you want from us?" Jackson asked, his hand resting near his sidearm. "We need human minds to help develop new strategies against the Void Walkers. We would like to invite a delegation of your brightest to join our war council." The request seemed reasonable, even flattering. Humanity, the cosmic newcomers, being asked to contribute their unique thinking to save the galaxy. After 3 days of discussions, Earth agreed to send 12 representatives, scientists, military strategists, and diplomats, aboard a Union vessel that would arrive in Earth orbit within a month. Maya was selected to lead the scientific contingent, while Commander Jackson would head security. The world watched in awe as the Union ship appeared suddenly above the Atlantic Ocean, a massive crystalline structure that defied conventional physics, reflecting the sun like a diamond the size of Manhattan. The human delegation prepared to depart amid great ceremony. For the first time in history, all nations stood united for a singular purpose: to help save the galaxy. But as the transport shuttle carried them toward the alien vessel, Jackson pulled Maya aside. "Something isn't right," he whispered. "While everyone's been celebrating, I've been analyzing the data they sent. There are inconsistencies in their story." "What kind of inconsistencies?" Maya asked, her excitement giving way to concern. "Their description of the Void Walkers changed 3 times in their communications, and I had our quantum physicists review their technology. Parts of it seem unnecessarily complex, almost like they're trying to impress rather than communicate efficiently." Maya looked out the shuttle window at the approaching alien ship. "You think they're lying about needing our help?" "I think," Jackson said carefully, "that we should be prepared for the possibility that we're not being told everything." As their shuttle docked with the enormous alien vessel, Maya felt a chill despite the climate-controlled environment. The delegation moved forward into the airlock, greeted by more Union representatives, different species, all with that same iridescent skin quality, despite their varied body forms. Ambassador Thalrax led them through corridors that seemed to shift and change, defying Euclidean geometry. The technology they glimpsed was beyond comprehension: machines that appeared to phase in and out of reality, energy fields that contained what looked like miniature stars. They were brought to a vast chamber with a circular table where representatives of the Union's 7 species waited. Above them floated a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy, certain regions pulsing with red light. The apparent incursions of the Void Walkers. Honored humans, Falrax announced, welcome to the Galactic Union. Before we begin formal proceedings, our High Council wishes to share something with you. The true reason we sought your assistance. The lighting in the room dimmed, and the galactic map was replaced by an image of a human brain, rotating slowly. Your species is indeed unique. A new voice said, deeper, older sounding, belonging to a being at the head of the table whose form seemed to constantly shift and blur. But not for the reasons we initially explained. Maya felt Jackson tense beside her as the alien continued. The truth is far more valuable than what we told you. And far more dangerous. You see, humans aren't merely useful allies against a threat. You are the threat, or rather, you carry within you the seeds of what could become the greatest threat this galaxy has ever known. The image of the brain zoomed in, showing neural pathways and quantum effects that Maya had never seen in any human brain scan. What you call consciousness, we call the awakening, and yours is evolving at a rate that terrifies us. The human delegation looked at each other in confusion and growing alarm as the true nature of their invitation began to unfold. We didn't come here for your help, the High Counselor said, its form finally settling into a crystalline shape that pulsed with internal light. We came to contain you before it's too late. Humanity's answer. The chamber erupted in chaos. General Martinez demanded an explanation while diplomatic officers tried to maintain calm. Jackson had already moved, positioning himself between Maya and the aliens, his hand on his sidearm despite knowing it would be useless against their technology. Please, Ambassador Thalrax raised all four hands. There is no immediate danger. We wish only to explain. You lied to us, Maya said, her voice cutting through the commotion. There are no Void Walkers, are there? The High Counselor's crystalline form pulsed. There are not. At least, not as we describe them. The threat is real, but it is internal. Under pressure from the human delegation, the truth emerged. The Galactic Union had been monitoring Earth for centuries, watching with growing concern as human consciousness evolved. According to their scientists, human minds possessed unusual quantum properties, a capacity for true randomness, and creative leaps that other species lacked. All sentient species in our records follow predictable evolutionary paths, explained a Union scientist named Mervox, a being that resembled a translucent jellyfish floating in a containment field. Their consciousness develops along established patterns. Except humans. The holographic display shifted to show a timeline of human development, from primitive primates to modern civilization. The exponential acceleration was obvious even to non-scientists. Your species went from simple tools to quantum computing in an evolutionary eye blink, continued Mervox. The neural architecture supporting this growth is unprecedented. So we're evolving quickly, Maya said. Why is that a threat? The High Counselor's crystalline body darkened. Because the last time a species showed these patterns, they nearly destroyed the galaxy. According to Union records, 50,000 years ago, a civilization called the Precursors had exhibited similar traits: rapid advancement, unique neural structures, unpredictable creativity. They had advanced beyond all other species, developing technologies that manipulated the fundamental structure of reality itself. They called it transcendence, Thalrax said. The ability to exist simultaneously in physical space and the quantum realm. They became beings of pure consciousness, unfettered by physical limitations. Sounds like an achievement, Jackson remarked dryly. Still waiting for the threat part. The Precursor's transition was violent and uncontrolled. The High Counselor responded. The energies released destroyed 3 star systems. Worse, their new form of existence generated ripples in space-time that destabilized quantum fields across an entire galactic arm. Billions died. Maya began to understand. You think humans will undergo the same transformation. We know you will, Mervox said. The neural markers are identical. Your species is approximately 2 centuries from reaching the transcendence threshold. The Union's solution was containment, not extermination. They proposed integrating humans into the Galactic Union under special conditions, limiting Earth's technological development, restricting quantum research, and implementing genetic modifications to slow the evolution of human consciousness. This is for the safety of all species, including yours, Falrax insisted. Uncontrolled transcendence will destroy you along with countless others. General Martinez laughed bitterly. So you didn't need our help. You just needed our compliance. The choice is yours, the High Counselor said. Join us under these conditions, or we will be forced to take more drastic measures. You have 3 Earth days to consult with your governments. The human delegation was escorted to luxurious quarters aboard the Union vessel. The moment they were alone, Jackson activated anti-surveillance devices they had brought as a precaution. They're lying again, he said simply. Maya looked up from the data pad she'd been given, containing details of the Union's proposal. How do you know? Their body language, or whatever passes for it with these species. They're holding something back. Dr. Eliza Okafor, Earth's foremost xenobiologist, nodded. I noticed discrepancies in their historical account. The timeframes don't align with the stellar cartography they showed us. For the next 48 hours, while appearing to debate the Union's terms, the human team secretly worked to uncover the truth. Maya and 2 computer scientists managed to access portions of the Union's database through terminals in their quarters, supposedly restricted but vulnerable to hacking approaches the aliens hadn't anticipated. What they discovered confirmed Jackson's suspicions. The precursors weren't destroyed, Maya revealed during a midnight meeting in her quarters. They didn't cause any catastrophe. They simply left. According to classified Union records, the precursors had indeed achieved transcendence, evolving beyond physical form into beings of pure consciousness. But rather than causing destruction, they had simply departed normal space-time, moving to another plane of existence. The Union had lost access to the precursors' advanced technology and knowledge, and that was what truly frightened them. They're not worried we'll destroy the galaxy, Jackson realized. They're worried we'll evolve beyond their control, just like the precursors did. Dr. Okafor pulled up more files they had extracted. There's more. Look at these genetic studies they've done on humans. They're particularly interested in our capacity for defiance and our willingness to sacrifice for abstract principles. Qualities that might make us resist control. Maya nodded. Qualities the precursors presumably had as well. By the time the 3-day deadline arrived, the human delegation had pieced together the full picture. The Galactic Union wasn't the benevolent alliance they claimed to be, but rather a hegemony that maintained strict control over technological and evolutionary development among its member species. The human delegation gathered in the meeting chamber, facing the Union Council once more. The High Counselor's crystalline form seemed to loom larger than before. Have you reached a decision? Falrax asked. Will Earth join the Union under our guidance? Maya stepped forward as the designated spokesperson, feeling the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. Before we answer, we have questions about the precursors, she said, and about the true nature of your union. The crystalline being flickered, its light dimming momentarily, a sign of surprise or alarm. The matter of the precursors is closed. They were a tragic mistake of evolution. A mistake you're afraid will be repeated, Maya pressed. Not because it would harm the galaxy, but because it would challenge your control. The atmosphere in the chamber changed instantly. The other council members shifted in their seats, some communicating in rapid pulses of light among themselves. You misunderstand, Falrax began, but Maya cut him off. We accessed your historical archives, she said boldly. We know the precursors didn't cause any catastrophe. They simply evolved beyond your reach, beyond your control. That's what you fear humans will do. The High Counselor rose, towering over the human delegation. Your unauthorized access of Union archives is a serious violation. It only confirms our concerns about your species' disregard for established order. Call it curiosity, Jackson said, stepping up beside Maya. "Another quality you find troubling about us. You have left us no choice," the High Counselor announced. "If you will not accept our terms willingly, we must take more direct measures. Earth will be quarantined until appropriate genetic modifications can be implemented across your population." The threat hung in the air, its implications clear. The Union planned to alter humanity's very nature, to remove the spark that made humans unique. Maya glanced at her colleagues, receiving subtle nods. They had prepared for this possibility. "The people of Earth have authorized me to give you our answer," she said, her voice steady. "A single word that expresses our response to your demands." The council members leaned forward, waiting. Maya took a deep breath and gave humanity's reply. "No." The simplicity of it seemed to confuse the council. The High Counselor's form flickered again. "Perhaps you misunderstand the gravity of your situation. This is not a negotiation." "We understand perfectly," Maya replied. "No, we will not submit to genetic modification. No, we will not allow you to stunt our development. No, we will not surrender our potential." "Then you leave us no alternative but force," the High Counselor stated coldly. "Before you make that decision," Maya said, "there's something you should know." She nodded to Dr. Ramirez, their quantum physicist, who activated a device they had concealed in their equipment. A holographic display appeared, showing Earth, but surrounded by thousands of small satellites that hadn't been there before. "While we've been talking, Earth has been preparing," Maya explained. "The quantum communication technology you gave us, we reverse-engineered it, improved it. Those satellites are now entangled with small devices planted throughout your ship, and we suspect, throughout your fleet." The council members shifted anxiously as Jackson continued the explanation. "Your mistake was underestimating human ingenuity. We don't need centuries to advance. Sometimes, we just need the right push, like an alien species threatening our freedom." "Impossible," Murdoch stammered. "Your species couldn't possibly understand quantum entanglement at that level so quickly. That unpredictable creativity you fear." "This is what it looks like," Maya said. "We don't want conflict. We're offering a counter-proposal, a genuine alliance, not as subjects, but as equals." For a long moment, the chamber was silent. Then, unexpectedly, a sound like crystal chimes filled the air. The High Counselor was laughing. "In all our history," it said, its form shifting to a warmer hue, "no species has ever replied to our containment proposal with such audacity. You bluff magnificently." Maya smiled. "Who says we're bluffing?" The tension broke as the High Counselor's form settled into a peaceful blue glow. "Whether it is a bluff or not, you have demonstrated exactly why your species concerns us, and why, perhaps, we have been too hasty in our judgment." Over the next several hours, a new agreement took shape. Earth would remain independent but allied with the Union. Humans would have access to Union knowledge and technology, but would develop at their own pace. In exchange, human scientists would work with Union researchers to better understand the transcendence process, not to prevent it, but to ensure it could occur safely when the time came. As the human delegation prepared to return to Earth with the historic agreement, Falrax approached Maya privately. "There is one thing we did not mislead you about," the ambassador said. "Your species truly is unique in our experience. The capacity for defiance you demonstrated today, it reminds us of stories about the precursors." "What happened to them?" Maya asked. "Where did they go after transcendence?" Falrax's skin rippled with patterns that suggested uncertainty. "We don't know. Perhaps someday, when humans achieve the same transformation, you will find out. And perhaps you will tell us." 1 month later, Maya stood on the observation deck of the new International Space Station, watching as Union ships departed Earth orbit. The new alliance was taking its first tentative steps, with exchange programs being established and joint scientific ventures beginning. "Do you think we made the right choice?" Jackson asked, joining her at the viewport. Maya considered the question. Humanity had been offered safety through submission. The certainty of controlled development versus the risks of charting their own evolutionary course. "I think we made the human choice," she answered finally, "to face the unknown on our own terms." Below them, Earth continued its silent spin through space, its people unaware of how close they had come to having their future decided for them. The potential for transcendence lay dormant in their minds, a destiny they would now face together, whatever it might bring. One word, Jackson mused. No, the simplest answer in human language. And sometimes, Maya replied, watching as the last Union ship disappeared in a flash of light, the most powerful. In the vast archives of the Galactic Union, a new entry was created that day, a record of the species that had responded to their ultimatum with a single defiant word, changing the course of galactic history. The species that had reminded an ancient alliance that evolution didn't follow rules or bow to fear. The species called human.